lecture, we are going to talk about zip method or zip function in Python, and I'll give you a few examples to help you understand how you can actually work with this method. And first of all, let me tell you, zip is not, it's not like zip function that is used for file compression. So it's not a file compression function. We are not compressing anything here. Zip function in Python is used basically to zip objects together. Okay, so first of all, okay, let me just write it here. First of all, this is inbuilt function. It means you don't have to use a module. You don't need to import a module to use this function. You can use it whenever you want it without importing any module. And second, you need to remember that because it zips objects together, it returns values in pairs. Okay, so the output will be in pairs. Okay, and the way output is given is outputs are mapped. Okay, or I would say values in pairs are mapped. Now I'll tell you what I mean by mapping, and you also need to remember that it works with iterables. Okay, so it will take an iterable and then it will return the item in the form of pair. And when you use a zip function, it will not return the output immediately. It will return an address, okay, because it is just zipping the objects together. So it will just return the address on which that object has been stored. Now you have to, as a user, you have to tell in which data structure you want the output or the result zipped into. Okay, so you have to tell that. Okay, now let me show you how it actually works. So suppose you have two lists here. This is your list 1, this is your list 2, and it can take up to, let's say, 3 elements. Okay, so suppose this is your first element, this is second, and this is third. And the second list we have, this is fourth, this is fifth, and this is sixth. When you will zip these two lists together, the output will be something like this. So you will get 1 4, okay, 2 3, and 2 5, and lastly we have 3 6. Okay, this is how you're gonna get the output. So it will take those iterables and then it will create pairs based on number of items we have in the list or in the iterable that we are giving, that we are providing as input. And if suppose these two lists have different number of elements, so here both the lists have 3 elements, right? Suppose first list had 3 elements, second list had let's say 4 elements or 5 elements. Then what zip function will do? What will it do? It's going to ignore the extra elements. It's just going to create a mapping. So it's just going to, create a mapping like this, and then it's going to ignore other elements. And you should also remember the first element in the pair, because here first element in the pair is all the elements in the first list. Okay, so when you're using zip method or zip function, let's say this is list A and this is list B. Okay, this is the output. Since this is the output, it means that the zip function was something like this, zip AB. So if A is the first argument or first parameter in zip method, it's the first elements in the pair will be belonging to A. Okay, if it is B comma A, then it's going to be 4 1 5 2 6 3. That's how output changes. Okay, so if it is BA, the output will be 4 comma 1, right? 2 5 comma 2 6 comma 3, like that. Okay, so I hope this is clear. And now let me give you a few examples so that you can understand how it actually works. So suppose I have one list and its elements are 1 2 3, and then I have another list B. Its elements are suppose 4 7 9, or maybe 4 again, or let's say 8. Okay, so I have these two lists, right? So when I use zip function or zip method, I can write A comma B. Okay, and as I told you, when you're using zip method or zip function, it's going to return the address. Okay, so you have to tell in which data structure you want results zipped into. Okay, what kind of data structure you want to use. So suppose I want that the result should be in the form of a list. So I'll have to use list function or list method, and the result will be in the form of a list. As you can see, it's 1 4 2 7 3 9, and it has ignored 8, right? And before we move any further, I also wanted to mention that my book 10 Days to the Ultimate You is out in the market. If you are interested, you can use the link given in the description to buy the book. And yeah, and you can also connect with me on Instagram, or you can also, I have 2 Facebook pages as well. I have 2 Instagram accounts as well. They are both associated with, like, for the programming page, I have, for the programming channel, I have one Facebook page and another Instagram account. It's Way to Programming. And for self-development, I have another Instagram account. It's called Monday Positivity. And the Facebook pages, I have read that book. So if you're interested, you can connect with me there as well. So yeah, since I wanted the result to be in the form of a list, I have it in the form of a list. Now, can I have it in another form? Of course I can. Let's say I want it in the form of a dictionary. So I need to use dict function, and then I'll provide zip AB, and you will have the result in the form of a dictionary. Similarly, I can have it in the form of a tuple. That too is possible, right? So in a way, I wanted you to know that if you ever come across a program where you have to combine 2 iterables and work with the output of that iterable, you can use it. For example, maybe you are working with dictionaries. You have 2 lists for keys and values, and you want to print the result based on keys or values. So you can use zip function in for loop as well. For example, let's say I'm using another variable d here. Okay, and I'm gonna zip A comma B. So I'm creating pairs, right? So I already know it's going to be 1 4 2 7 3 9, and I am not mentioning whether I want it to be in the form of a dictionary or a list or a tuple. So I'm just taking the result. Okay, now I can loop over this result for I comma j. So if it's just one, if it is a simple sequence or iterable, we usually use just one variable. But here I know that the output is going to be in the form of pairs, and I wanna iterate over both the values, both the items, right? So I'm going to use two variables, so I comma j, and where am I storing them? You can write zip a comma b, but for simplicity I'm storing the result in D. And obviously I'm not mentioning whether it is a list, whether it is a dictionary or tuple. So I'm just going to write for I comma j in D. I'm sorry, this is going to for I comma j in D colon, and here I can print both the values I comma j, right? As you can see, values are printed here, and I told you that it does not work with two iterables only. You can zip. So for example, I wrote a comma b, I can write a comma a as well, and again you need to define, or you need to decide how it's going to be, right? So it's going to create pairs, or it's going to create mapping with given not list, tuple, right? And it also works with three iterables. So let's say I have another iterable, and the values I'm gonna take something like this 5, okay, 6 1. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zip all the three iterables, so A comma B comma C. I'm really sorry for the background noise, actually some construction work is going on. Okay, so we have 1 for 77, so 1 comes from tuple A, 4 comes from tuple B, and from C it's picking 77. And as I told you, in A and B, since in A we have only 3 values 1 2 3, so it's going to ignore 8 from B, it's going to ignore these values from C, right? And we have this pair, this mapping. Okay, so this is how zip function works. And in the coming videos, actually we are going to talk about dictionary comprehension and many other topics. So you will actually notice, you will actually see the importance of zip function or zip method, how you can actually use it in different scenarios. So for today, I hope this was helpful. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask. You can always ask in the comment sections, or you can drop me a mail. You can also connect with me on Instagram or Facebook, right? And yeah, if you have any doubt, please feel free to ask, and I'll see you in the next video lecture. Till then, take care.